Hi, and welcome to this week's Makers Monday. This week we're going to go speak to John Evans, who runs LTD Woodwork and is from Virginia in the US. It's really interesting, John's story, because he was a designer who ended up getting so inspired by some of his designs, he ended up taking action and taking those designs and creating them in wood. But like I usually say, I don't want to tell you his story, I want John to tell you his story. So before we end up going over and speaking to John, who's waiting to speak to all of us, I'm going to invite you all to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon so that if you have come for the very first time to Makers Monday or you really like the series, I want to make sure that you don't miss out on any other episodes in this series. As I mentioned before, John Evans is from LTD Woodwork and he has an incredible story. So John, I know you've been waiting to share your story with everyone here. Please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how you started your maker journey.
Hey everyone, first let me say thank you to Gil for having me on this week's episode of Makers Monday. Really do appreciate it. My name is John Evans and I am LTD Woodworks. Well, I don't know. I guess I would say that I am a designer and a woodworker. It all started back when I used to sit down at the computer with various design programs such as SketchUp and Fusion 360. I would sit there for hours designing anything and everything that would come to mind. Everything from, say, a dog food holder to tables and benches. And I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I could go on for hours on what I've designed. Even this shop that I'm standing in right now and have since built. But then the woodworking, you know, I'd spent all that time designing things. I figured maybe it's about time I actually start building these things. And that is where my true passion has developed. And it's a very strong passion right now. It's about all I ever think about.
Passion is a really great motivator. And it's so great to hear about how you were designing things and that created you the opportunity to take action and create those designs into real world objects. That's really amazing. And you know what? It's a kind of unique kind of journey in its own right. So it sounds like you've done a whole lot of different projects. What was the last project that you made?
That would be this woodworking mallet. Made it out of walnut and maple and did a nice little brass inlay just for fun. Really dressed it up a little bit. Has a wedged through Mortise tenon joint to hold it all together. And I can't wait to really bang it up on future projects.
That's a really nice mallet. And in fact, as you were showing it to us, I thought maybe this is something that Thor might have created if he was a woodworker himself. It's actually quite spectacular, and the inlays just really take it to the next level. It looks like you've got a lot of skills and a lot of tools in your shop. Do you have one tool above all the rest of them that stands out as your favorite?
I have so many, but I guess if I really had to pick one now, it would be my newer table saw. I used to own a much smaller contractor saw, and sometimes, you know, depending on the name brand that you get, they're really not the best. The old one that I had, I won't even name it, but I mean, the fence was just god-awful. You had to sit there and align both sides, take a tape measure. Oh, I hated that thing. So finally, I went out and bought a new Delta table saw. The amount of precision and power that it affords me is just far better, and I really enjoy using that.
Table saws come up a lot when I speak to woodworkers on Makers Monday, and I can totally understand your frustration about getting a guide right on a saw that it doesn't work. In fact, I have a really, really cheap saw myself that the biggest issue is that the guide doesn't sit still. So as I put a piece of wood through, it actually slips and moves off, and I never get a straight line. In fact, it's gotten so bad that I don't even use that saw at all. I'd rather cut it by hand, because at least I have control over the final result. So with your table saw and whatever other tools you have, what's been your favorite project so far?
For that, I think I would lean towards a cedar garden bench that I made for my mother not too long ago. It was her birthday at the time. And again, I sat down at the computer, designed the design of the bench up on there. You've probably seen 2x4 benches on, you know, in the YouTube world before. A lot of them are pretty much straight up, over and back down again. Nice 90-degree angles on there. I wanted to change that up just a little bit, so I splayed out the legs at a 5-degree angle, gave some nice curves in there, just to give a little bit of, better look to it. So I really did enjoy that one. Threw on a nice exterior finish on there, and gave it to her for her birthday, and she loves it. So really proud of that one.
That bench came out stunning. I mean, it's absolutely spectacular. If I didn't know any better, I'd assume that came out of a boutique specializing in woodwork. I'm sure that your mother would be very proud to have that out in her garden. Really well done. And in fact, you know what? I would love to have something like that in my garden too. So, you know, taking your design skills and being able to put them together with your woodwork, it's an amazing piece. Thank you again for sharing that with us. Now, with all your different skills that you have, is there one skill in particular that you'd want to add into your maker arsenal?
For that, I would turn to, well, wood turning. Really can't wait to do that. I was given a lathe as a gift. I feel kind of bad. It's just been sitting in the corner collecting dust, but one day, I promise, I am going to devote some time to learning that skill. I think for future projects, it will really come in handy. Say, for example, a nice kitchen table with some nice wood turn legs would be nice, or I've seen tons of bowls online that just look beautiful, and I would love to give that a try. So that's about it. So again, thank you, Gil, for having me on this week's episode. Really do appreciate it. Everybody else, you can find links to my channel and some other videos down in the description. So again, thank you very much for watching. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.
John, thank you so much for sharing your story on Makers Monday. I have no doubt in the future you'll be able to add that skill in, and I look forward to following you on your channel and seeing how you can actually put that to use. Thank you so much. Well, if you want to be like John and share your story on Makers Monday, we would love to have you on board. In fact, if you follow the link below, I will do my best to make sure that I can walk you through the process and you too can share your maker story. Because as I always say on these episodes, it is so important to find your audience. And I hope that together we can present your work to a much larger range of people. And you know what? Even inspire them. I know that for myself, when I come across a story that inspires me, I take action and it makes me a stronger maker. Well, that's it. I'm going to see you in 7 days for an absolutely brand new maker, and hopefully I'll also be back in Melbourne after my trip to US Space Camp. So hang out for that story. I'll be bringing that as well. And until then, go out, make something, and just have a fantastic week. We'll see you in 7 days.